Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ask Me Anything with me, Yaasha Sabba, at Sky Unlimited Law. Question number 1. What are the possible drawbacks of setting up a trust fund for our children for their education? Well, it can be a little costly. There's other funds you can set up, such as a 529 plan, or you could just put money in a savings account. The difference there, though, is with you put money in your own account to save for your kids, then your money is exposed to your creditors. You're not really protecting your kids should something happen to you. That money could end up in court, could go to probate. With a 529 plan, you put your money tax-free, kind of pre-tax, like a 401k, into an account that is designed for education, legally meant for education, but since 2020, more broadly put for education. So when your money goes in there, it is outside of your estate. You are the custodian of the account, and then your children are the beneficiaries. So putting your money in a 529 plan is a much easier strategy. It doesn't cost as much. You don't need an attorney. You just go to a bank, move it in there, and then your kids can be the beneficiaries for life. And if anything ever happens to them, you can make them the successor custodians of the account, and then they can make someone else as the beneficiary if they don't need the money anymore for education. So it's kind of like an education fund that can pass down through generations. It's really huge. Alternatively, you can set up a trust. And what's so nice about setting up a trust is you can set the terms originally for education, but if all of a sudden your kids don't go to college, what do you want to have happen with the money? What's the contingency there? I've seen some clients where money has just been sitting in a trust in a fund for decades because the kids haven't gone to school and they don't plan on it. And the trust is very rigid on what should happen next, or how do you encourage the kids to do something with their lives, something better maybe. These people were actually well off. They didn't need college. So the next thing is, what about after college? You can start creating those kind of little plans within a trust. You have a lot more control on what you do. And there's a lot more your trust can do to protect your kids. So if you want to just put money aside for education, that's one thing. If you want to put money aside for education, protect your kids throughout their lives as they receive wealth, as that money continues to grow, right? Once they're done with their education, now they're living their lives, having kids of their own, investing in separate assets. That is another opportunity you can have when you do trust planning than just using an account itself. Let's go to the next question. Can I add my son as a legal co-owner of my house? Yes, you can. Answered and served. There you go. I want to avoid inheritance taxes for him after my death. Okay. Well, if you ever transfer an asset to anybody, like anything, a house, a stock, car, that is either a sale because they're giving you something in return for it, or it's a gift. You're just giving it to them. That's how the government looks at it. There's no other way. So there's another way, though. You can die and then they can inherit it. Okay, so 3 ways to transfer assets to people. When you make a gift to anybody, there's something called a gift tax. And every year you can give anyone up to $15,000 per year. Nobody cares. But once you go above that $15,000, that's when your gift tax starts to apply. But fortunately, during your lifetime, you have an exemption up to right now, $11 million. So throughout my life, I can gift up to $11 million and no taxes are paid. Nobody cares. So if you put your child's name on your home, that's a lot of money you're gifting during your lifetime. That gift tax exemption goes up and down. It's very political. In fact, right now, they're talking about it coming down to as low as $3 million. So if your house is worth maybe 1.5, 1.2, you give your child half of that. That's about $700,000, $800,000 you are gifting to them during your lifetime. How much other money have you given them for college? How much other money do you plan on giving them in the future? Right once you think about all that, most of the time for middle-class America, it doesn't matter. Add your kids to the name of the home, but keep in mind, when your child's on as a co-owner of your home, if your child goes through bankruptcy or has any creditors, that's an issue. So alternatively, you can put the home in a trust, name your child as a beneficiary, and even a co-trustee if you need them to help you out with the house with anything to do with title or your bank accounts, what have you. So that's how you can take care of that. Now, if you have an inheritance tax issue or an estate tax issue, so today we're talking about anyone with $20 million up, but tomorrow, maybe by the end of this year, because of the coronavirus and Biden trying to recapture $4 trillion over the next 10 years, they're going to lower the inheritance tax exemption. That means most likely anyone with an estate the size of $3 to $5 million. Talk about your homes, the equity you have in your home. That's a lot of money. A lot of us in the Bay Area are going to have an inheritance tax issue. So do you solve that problem by just gifting your assets away? No, because what happens is when you gift, your exemption goes down. You have less exemption available for when your other loved ones and your child inherit your assets. And that tax is 40%, very high. One of the highest taxes we have in this country is the inheritance tax. Fortunately, the state of California doesn't have one, but the federal government, Uncle Sam, most certainly does. They want their moolah. So next question. Or going really quick, just use a trust. There's ways you can avoid the inheritance tax. It's almost 100% voluntary if you make the right moves using trust planning. It gets a little advanced, so feel free to reach out to me if you want to learn more. Question number 3. How should a trust be written for 4 adult siblings where only one of them would have restrictions, so his money is protected from his own decisions in life? It looks like he has a lifestyle disability, which could have him begging the rest of us without offending him for life. There's something that we do when we design trusts for children, especially if you want to create some kind of restrictions, some kind of rules. A lot of people, they have kids, let's face it, they have kids that have gambling problems, drug problems, spending problems. This is not an uncommon thing. There's a reason why Alcoholics Anonymous is throughout the United States, right? So for people that have that problems, getting money, inheriting money, or whether it's a lifetime gift, it can become a serious danger to them because they are now enabled with the resources to go and exacerbate that problem if they don't have control. So sometimes what parents like to do is they like to leave money in trust for their children throughout their lifetimes. It's what I call the Lifetime Asset Protection Trust. That means the money is held in trust throughout their lifetimes. It's shielded and protected from their creditors. And then if you ever need to create some kind of restrictions from lifestyle disabilities, or you want to create guidelines telling your trustee, I want to support their education, I want to support their work. If they have to take time off of work to support a family member, I want to support them. Any of that kind of stuff. You can get really creative. That is how you provide resources to your children without ruining their lives, you know? So yes, you can, in this trust, for instance, give money outright, just free, right when something happens to you. The inheritance goes to 3 of your children in their pockets, free, unprotected, or you can give it to them protected throughout their lifetimes. And then for your one child that has a little bit more of a lifestyle disability, they can have the inheritance in the trust protected with guidelines to the trustees on how to distribute that money to them, making sure that they don't have any gambling problems, that they've been going to therapy for a while. This money should be used to support their therapy or support their rehab. Think about that. That's the kind of guidance we can give to make sure even after you're gone, that is the financial resource you provide to your kids to find the right path and grow and flourish, okay? All right. I hope you've had a zenful day. I will talk to you all later. Take care.